Hey there folks, Mark Johnson, Tech Snobs. LG G6. I got a lot of nice things to say about this phone. It's awesome, great Android device. Full review coming up right now. All right folks, so here it is, LG G6. First thing I want to look at is the design. Awesome design here. Flat out, LG nailed it. All around you have glass on the back, glass on the front, dual camera on the back, dual 13 megapixel camera, which is great. You also have, look at the bezels, so thin, it's literally all screen. So they actually beat the S8 out to market maybe about a month with this device, which is great. You know, they got the volume rocker on the left hand side. You got your SIM card tray with your SD card reader there. You also have your USB Type-C port at the bottom. It does fast charging, which is great. 3,300 milliamp hour battery, which is okay. It's not super great, but it's decent. Fingerprint reader right there. This is one thing I don't like, is that this fingerprint reader is also the power button, so it's a little small. I mean, it's decent for opening the phone, but there's no dedicated power. I mean, this is the dedicated power button, but it's like it does a dual purpose there. So it's kind of, you know, mixed feelings on that. Headphone jacks at the top. And honestly, looking at this phone, LG did a fantastic job. I really like the device. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. And I think the main faults, personally for me, is the software. Just give you one quick example. Getting into the software, you know, to the apps. Usually you swipe up on Android 7.0, it doesn't do that. So I was swiping around trying to figure out. Come to find out, if I swipe down, it brings up this other new menu, which I'm like, what in the world is this? You can see Chrome results, this, that. But then if I hit more by the apps, it brings me into it. So, I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, it's got some bloatware on it, some LG Health stuff, some Lookout Mobile, AT&T stuff. Big shout out goes to AT&T to send over this review unit. And like I said, I do like it. It's just weird. You know, I've been playing with the Pixel. It's a lot different, so, you know, definitely keep that in mind. Also on here is when I look at, you know, the apps and the storage. Just go here and take a look at the, actually, let's look at this software. So you got the Android 7.0, but let me zoom in on this real quick. So when you look at it, you got 7.0, it doesn't have 7.1 yet, but look at the security updates for the Android. It's back in March. I just got an update on it not too long ago. That's concerning too, because you want to make sure your phones have the latest security updates. Only pretty much Samsung and the Pixel get them on a monthly basis. So that's something else to keep in mind if you're concerned about the security updates. You know, other than that, you know, the camera's great. It has this wild 18:9 aspect ratio on here, which essentially is literally the full screen when you know, taking a picture. So you have that extra little real estate. If you put it on a 4:3 aspect ratio, you would you have some black bars on the side. So it's pretty much it. I mean, it's a decent phone. It is expensive. You know, it's got all the crazy 4 gigs of RAM. I believe this one is 64. Let me actually look at the space on there. I thought it was around that amount. Let's go to storage. And it's got some decent things on here overall that I like. But, yeah, there's your memory. You got 4 gigs of RAM, like I said. Storage, we got, so this is a 32 gig model. They also do have a 64 gig model. But, you know, you can expand it with the, you know, the SD card. So, you know, I like it. Front camera's good. The camera's excellent. It looks just as good as an S7 or an iPhone, so that's very good. I'm going to compare this to some other devices out here. So let me zoom out. So when I zoom out here, now here it is compared to a Pixel. The Pixel, you can see these big old thick bezels on it. They're going to update it this year, but looking at it, you know, it's a 5.5 inch versus the 5.7. So that's the thing. It's beautiful and it's great to hold. The LG. It's very, very thin bezels on it. Compared to an iPhone 6S, same kind of concept there. The big thick bezels compared to literally none on the G6 glass all around. So it does great against that. 7 Plus, same concept here, where it's just, you know, big thick bezels, bigger. It's funny because it's got a bigger screen display overall, because it's a 5.7 versus the 5.5, but it's just easier to hold. and then against the Samsung S8 Plus. Now, granted, the S8 Plus, it's 6.2 inch display, so yeah, it's much bigger. But both of these phones have great design with glasses. You know, very fragile. I'm sure I haven't dropped it, but I definitely, you may do fine with a bumper case, but it's got a good grip on it. You know, it doesn't feel as slippery as the S8, so that's something to keep in mind. But I can give this phone a thumbs up. I mean, it's a nice phone. I wouldn't want to pay $600-700 for it just because of the updates and the software. But, you know, that's my thoughts on it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Take care.